probably a little too far away. Hopefully, you guys can hear me okay. We'll move that in. I want to talk today about what do you do when a candidate accepts an offer and then turns around and actually rejects it after they've accepted it. And unfortunately, this is something that happens to everybody in this business. So, how do you really manage that situation? How do you, let's first deal with, I think we'll deal with how do we handle it when it happens, then we'll talk about how to prevent it from happening. Well, first of all, when it happens, let's look at what the underlying cause is. The underlying cause of an offer that's accepted and then rejected is simply they just got a better deal somewhere else. And what is that better deal? Was that deal hidden from you? So on and so forth. Do you fight for it? Sometimes you need to fight for it. Sometimes that is the right solution to do. How do you determine whether you're going to fight for it? Number one, is the other offer really competitive? Is the money not really all that different? What does the other company have that your company doesn't have? You want to go through a list. You want to rank prioritize it with your candidate, find out what it is they like about the opportunity more than your opportunity. Then you need to determine, can you overcome these? Can your client overcome these? As we discussed before, you have to go over them. Is it the right company? Is it the right people? Is it the right projects? Then you worry about money. You need to go back through all these things. You're going to find sometimes that when somebody does this to you, sometimes it's done out of fear. You need to figure that out. If it was done under fear, how can you help them get over that fear? But the only way you can do that is you've got to truly diagnose what the core issue is. It could be fear of going from contract to full time. It could be the fear of full time to contract. It could be fear that the company, I had people, this is a long time ago with a client that's no longer mine, but they complained because there had been a report on ABC's 2020 about this company's unethical practices. How do you manage a situation like that? The only way to really manage it is to talk, ask questions, listen to the candidate, find out what's going on, and just ask more questions. And then you want to ask questions once you understand what's going on. How do you feel about that? What could my client do to overcome this? What would make you feel more comfortable with this? What would make my client actually be your first choice? If it's a little bit more controversial, if it's a little bit more adversarial, you should feel comfortable asking questions like, why didn't you tell me about this opportunity? Why didn't you keep me informed? How is this coming out of the blue? Guys, these things never come out of the blue. They may to you, but they're not to the candidate. They were already in cycle. They already had this process happening. And you simply either didn't know about it, didn't take it seriously, or you didn't manage this problem before it became a huge problem. And what I found usually the number one reason is the recruiter honestly had no idea because they weren't engaging with the candidate at the level the candidate needed to be engaged with. These things aren't, I don't believe in coincidences. I've had candidates try to tell me, oh, well, I wasn't expecting this. I interviewed with the company 6 months ago. Suddenly they came and gave me the offer I wanted. This is the company I've always wanted to work for. I've had people say, oh, they just called me out of the blue yesterday, interviewed me, made me an offer. No, they didn't. None of this stuff really happened. They took your offer and were shopping it. They were never excited about your offer, typically when this happens. So first of all, when this happens, it's probably a good thing if you can't overcome it. If you can't have a conversation finding out why the competing opportunity is better than your client's and how they rank it and what your client can do to overcome that gap. They were never excited about your client. They were going to leave anyway. So frankly, you're just better off when something like this happens. Sometimes you're going to get a call, oh, they're offering me literally twice as much money that you're offering them. Baloney. They didn't get an offer that's twice as much. They just want you to go away. They're trying to politely get you to go away. So understand the stitches on the fastball. Things like this happen, okay? You have to accept it. You have to address it. And you have to, the number one objective that I have when something like this happens to me is I want to find out why it happened, and I want to figure out what I can do to prevent it the next time. I kind of treat this individual deal itself as already lost. It's gone. My job is to do a better job in the next round to make sure that I prevent this from happening again. It's very difficult to solve a situation like this after it's happened. It's much better to manage it up front before it happens, if I'm making sense. What are the causes of this? Ultimately, the primary cause is your client wasn't their first choice. And you should know this already during the interview cycle. You should be getting this kind of feedback from them. If they're not speaking with you with enthusiasm, or you've got a candidate who just needs a job and they'll take the first thing that comes along, that candidate is absolutely ripe to be poached. The candidate who just needs a job and accepts that offer right off the bat, they're probably still looking. You have to accept that. You have to manage that process. You have to manage how that offer gets accepted. And we can get into that in another podcast, but that's really what this is all about. When this happens, your client was never the candidate's number one choice. If you're surprised by this, you weren't doing the proper digging around. And when the candidate tells you that it is this hugely generous offer, so much better than yours, they really like you as a person, don't want to hurt your feelings. That's almost certainly, not absolute, but almost certainly what's going on. So the process, figure out why it happened, do the best you can by asking the old who, what, where, when, how questions. How did this candidate find you? How long have you been in cycle with them? What do you like about this other position more than what my client has to offer? How long was their interview cycle? Who all did you meet with? Try to get as much reconnaissance as you can out of that particular candidate, because that relationship that you've got with the candidate is less important than you doing that reconnaissance and getting the information you need to do a better job with the next candidate. If you've got questions, comments, accusations, email us at deeprecruiting@teamgtn.com. Love to hear the challenges you're running into as you go through recruiting. I know some of this is tough love. Hope you're taking it and learning from it and improving your game. We're back every Wednesday at 4:10 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to grow this podcast, make it a little bit better, a little bit stronger. Don't take these types of incidents as really a negative. Take them as a learning experience where you can get better. So do your investigation, figure out what you can do better next time to prevent something like this from happening and improve your game. Simple as that. Have a great week, everybody. Go close the sale and happy recruiting. Thanks so much. Take care.